Hello, welcome to this your channel the Eurofan, that's me. Here comes the turn for the host country of the edition after having achieved a very well-deserved victory, the third overall in its history, with the multifaceted and magnificent proposal presented by Nemo during last year's contest, bringing back the competition to Switzerland, the place where the contest will be born almost 7 decades ago. Naturally, there were huge expectations on who will follow their steps, and for that we will take a look into the next artist that had the task of being the hostess by waving the Helvetic colors in Basel. Here we go. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Swiss entry for Eurovision 2025, which has been represented by the singer Zoë Më with the song Voyage, which in English translates as Journey. And she's not only talking about a vital journey, but also the musical journey with which she will transport us to her world full of art, poetry, and emotion. Without further delay, let's move on with the review. We start as usual reviewing her biography and career before leaving the Eurovision experience in her native country. Zoë Alina Kressler, mostly well known as Zoë Më, is a Swiss singer and songwriter in the genres of pop and French chanson, coming precisely from the city of Basel, where the contest took place. Although she was born there, she will move with her family to neighboring Germany at the age of 3, returning back to her native country at the age of 9, specifically to the city of Fribourg, located in western Switzerland, which is known by its bilingualism in German and French that will definitely influence in her musical facet. She develops a huge interest for music since she was very little by taking piano classes, and especially at the age of 10 when she begins to write her own songs, first in German and thereafter in French. Having been closely linked with music during her teenage years, she then decides in 2018 to start her musical career under the stage name of Zoë Më. It combines the word Zoë, which apart of being her own name, it also means life in Greek, and Më, that means I in Japanese, as she is very interested in Japanese culture due to its fascinating and intriguing character. Since then, she would start to release many singles that eventually would take part of her debut studio album, officially released in 2020. Thereafter, after a hiatus of almost 3 years, she would release new music again by releasing singles that would take part of her first EP, officially released last year, followed very shortly by a second EP that could be seen as a reissue of the first one, as it includes a previously unreleased track in addition to the tracks already featured in that musical production. Musically speaking, she defines her style as poetic pop, and it is that her ability to combine pop and French chanson with captivating, moving, and deep melodies, in addition to incorporating both German and French in her compositions, have earned her recognitions in her native country as an emerging artist, performing in many musical festivals nationwide and being the opening act for some Swiss artists, standing out from them, by the way, to the former Eurovision contestant Remo 4, who was the Swiss representative 2 years ago during the competition held in Liverpool, United Kingdom. But her Eurovision connections do not end there, as Nemo, the winner and Swiss representative from last year, and Marius Bell, who represented the country in 2022 as well, during the competition held in Turin, Italy, had got like her the same awards as emerging artists in the country. And she is also a close friend of Jon Stiers, who was the Swiss representative in 2020 and 2021 during the competition held in Rotterdam, Netherlands, as they studied together in a musical academy in Fribourg, where the singer also lives. It was clear that with so many connections with the contest, she would end up attempting to represent her native country, and not one but many times, without having the certainty that she would eventually accomplish it this year, and even more so as a hostess. Let's see then how the Eurovision experience begins for her. Shortly after taking the duties to organize the edition of the contest by the Swiss public broadcaster after the victory of the country on Sweden last year, a few days after the grand final took place, the known first phase of the process, the songwriting camp that was organized in Zurich, where most of the songs produced from that camp will be sent as potential candidates for the internal selection process commonly organized by the broadcaster. That process, the known second phase, took place during August of last year, where artists and songwriters from any nationality could send their proposals, while giving priority to Swiss nationals and residents. After the deadline, it was known that a total of 431 proposals were received, by registering a slight increase comparing to the last edition. The received proposals will be reviewed as usual by two public panels, one national and one international, as well as by a 25-member international jury. Many months will pass without knowing new details about the process, keeping any information strictly in secret as usual, and even more by being focused on organizing the contest. But then, as the deadline to submit the final entries in mid-March was getting closer, several independent media started to rumor the name of Zoë as the possible artist that will attend the contest, which will force the broadcaster to reveal her officially as the Swiss representative earlier that month, giving the release of both the song and the official music video at the middle of the same month. A track that is taking us in a blooming journey. Now I'm going to analyze the proposal with further detail with which she played as hostess in her hometown. Melodically speaking, the track is a typical French chanson where stand out both the piano and a string orchestra as the main musical instruments that support the melodic bass, giving a twang minimalistic and intimate character by also incorporating elements from cinematographic music that is especially present in her latest singles. Her voice is very soft and captivating, which fits perfectly with the minimalistic style of the track by also transporting and carrying you in a melodic and sensory journey, as it is very well described with the song's title. Personally, I cannot help having a smile when I listen to her singing, as it transmits so much tenderness and a very nice relaxation state. Regarding the lyrics, it has been written fully in French by herself together with a couple of Swiss songwriters. Curiously, according to Zoë herself, the song was initially written in 2022, in one of the many times she has taken part in the songwriting camps usually organized in the country, describing the songwriting process as a journey itself, as the song has changed several times throughout the years in terms of the tempo, the lyrics, and the music dynamics, until arriving to the final version already known. About the context behind the lyrics, she has mentioned that it encourages togetherness, kindness, and friendship towards hate, challenges in terms of personal relationships, and the negativity that we are facing in this world nowadays. In this sense, she uses the metaphor of humans as flowers, in the fact that these are much prettier when they are watered instead of cut, insinuating that by treating others nicely, we can all be the most beautiful flower as the best version of ourselves. All this can be easily perceived by reading the lyrics more in detail, previously translated, of course, focusing it as a conversation between her and the listener, encouraging us to be our journey companion, which is interpreted in this context as being a life companion, as a friend or a partner, but in good and bad, precisely in that pursuit of becoming better people, by watering the flowers to keep them pretty. Taking into account all the previous comments, the message transmitted with the track is quite implicit. Having seen more of the context behind the track, let's see how its powerful meaning is transmitted through the official music video. The plot is developed in the pedestrian crossing of Australia using a cinematography used in vintage films, matching with the style of the track as well. So initially performs the first verse while she stands on the sidewalk with other people that is also waiting to cross the street. When the traffic light changes, people start to cross the street by the pedestrian crossing, where it comes to attention among all the people a girl that has an ornament flower and that is shrub on the ground, although it is not clear if she done it unintentionally or if it was made on purpose. In any case, Zoë reaches out to pick up the ornament flower from the ground, and suddenly the scenery changes. Now she is in the middle of the pedestrian crossing, but all the surroundings became darker and the people look like frozen, like the time have stopped, etc. Where it comes to attention that every person now has different flowers in the chest, following an analogy addressed from the main metaphor of the song, in this case, seeing them all as flowers. In the first chorus, she walks by the pedestrian crossing, and when she touches one of the people, they get unfrozen, as all of them are seen walking again by the pedestrian crossing, while Zoë remains in the middle, seeing them walking from one side to another. The dynamic is captured in the second verse, telling out in some moment to one of the people, a man that looks like a construction worker, which has his flower dried, which gets the attention from Zoë by watching that man with some regret, judging by her face expression. It is in this case another clear representation of the metaphor, as it was not watered enough, it ended up dry, making us to think how deteriorated could be his emotional and mental state. While the people keeps crossing the street by the second chorus, the spotlights are focused on Zoë and the girl singing at the beginning, which stops at a short distance from her, seeing them each other for a few instants, and the girl keeps walking while Zoë still remains in the middle of the pedestrian crossing. By the bridge, there is a sudden change of state, while the dynamic of the song gets more dramatic as well, as now the people is running to cross the street, which makes Zoë look confused as she does not understand what is happening. Alternated this scene with shots of various flowers, and right after reaching the final chorus, Zoë is seen once again with the ornament flower back in the sidewalk where she was initially. In some moments, she looks at the girl that is in the sidewalk at the other side of the street until she magically disappears among the people that was around her, raising questions on what was the real purpose of this girl, or even if she was a real person or if she was only an illusion only seen by Zoë. Towards the end of the music video, she turns back to put the ornament flower she picked up before on her chest, in a final allusion to the metaphor, thus finishing the performance. After seeing the tender and deep meaning transmitted with the music video, there was the question on how she will transmit it as well through her live performances. In fact, prior to her participation as hostess, she had the chance to present her proposal live in the different Eurovision pre-parties of the season, keeping a quite minimalistic presentation, without visual graphics and without dancers, just how with a few lighting on the stage performing the track, as it is not too demanding in terms of the staging as well. For the staging in her hometown, it could be seen during the first rehearsals that it will follow the calm and dark trend, seeing her wearing a black dress with red, blue and purple textures that reminds to flowers, which is combined as well with various accessories in her hairs and her hair. In a similar way, the lighting will be quite discreet without making use of many lighting effects nor visual graphics, keeping that intimate character previously seen on the preseason. Watching her live performance in the grand final, it is focused on Zoë performing the sound seat on a stool, keeping a sequence shot both by the front and the profile. It is to stand out in this case that all the shots made throughout the performance are made with a special camera, following the cinematographic style introduced in the proposal, both in the song itself and the music video. By the bridge, however, the dynamic changes contrasting with the dramatic pace in this part of the track, with Zoë doing her performance standing on feet, while wind bursts, smoke and overexposed flashes are seen, maybe intended to simulate a sort of storm, while she is focused from different angles, keeping that disrupted environment. With the final chorus, she turns to the audience that turn the lights of their smartphones while the calm and dark environment at the beginning returns, finishing the performance with a close-up of her. I have to confess that I expected something more mystical and impactful, as the proposal could give quite a lot of itself, but I understand that she ought to keep that sober and intimate character that is common in any ballad. She has quite good in her vocal performance, despite the fact there were counted times in which her voice was not that good, but however she managed to do a quite well done and charming performance at the same time. During the votaries also was widely appreciated by the jury, placing her initially in the second place of the ranking, raising high chances for Switzerland on doing a back-to-back victory, in expectation of the points to be received from the public, but then the inconceivable thing happened. She received the infamous 0 points from the televote, just like the United Kingdom, descending many spots to finally place 10th in the final ranking. Here were Alpha phrasing the song's title from United Kingdom because it was to wonder what the hell just happened. I cannot believe that so beautiful and charming proposal ended up being so underestimated by the public. If it was not by the jury, maybe she would have placed much lower in the ranking. Making a summary of all the comments, the Swiss entry for this year is a beautiful work of art. I have to say that it is a proposal that I love since the very beginning, from the delicate and charming melody to the deep and convincing message transmitted. It is a song that is totally elegant for me and was among my favorites this year, although apart from my personal taste, it is true that it had mixed reactions. In one hand, it has been praised by many for its songwriting style and its ethereal instrumentation, but at the same time linked with the previous argument. While the proposal is cited as pretty sweet and moving, many have also commented that it would not stand out that much because of not being exciting enough in comparison with many of the other entries of the edition. Despite not having received any points from the public, the final result has been equally successful for the Alpine country, managing to keep the streak of good results that has been achieving, especially on these recent years. In fact, stands out as well that Zoë received the Marcel Besançon Award in the Composers Award category, reinforcing in this way the poetic pop style she has been working during her musical career so far. In this sense, she has expressed being very grateful and satisfied with the results achieved, evidenced on the big amount of juries that have put on value the artistic and musical quality presented with the proposal. After her time of Eurovision, Zoë has moved forward with her musical career. She has released a brand new single in French recently, and she also has released an acoustic piano version of the song with which she has participated at the contest in Antwerp with one of her fellow contestants on the edition, the French singer Luan. It is not clear if she will keep taking part in the songwriting camps in the following years as a songwriter, but it is quite probably that she will be working on new music for her next studio album. This has been the Swiss proposal this year for the contest. What opinion deserves for you? Do you think that she has been a very good hostess, or do you think that they must have opted for something different? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. I think the discussion will be quite interesting. And this is it for today's episode. If this video has been of your taste, then take a few moments to give a like, thus in addition to bring me your support, you can help me to spread this content among much more people. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, enable notifications by the bell to be aware of the upcoming episodes, and follow me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.